From the heart of Kansas City, we bring you Buk and Bob take on Chiefs Kingdom. I'm Bob.
I'm Buck.
We aren't fancy analysts. We're just two friends talking about a team that we love, but we have just as many bad takes as those fancy analysts. So stick around, hang out, and see what we got to talk about today. So what do we have first here?
No bad takes today. All good stuff.
All good takes. What do we have to start off, Buck?
Well, do you want to? Well, no, we didn't get any good voicemails, did we? So the Chiefs are going to bring back Matt House among the defensive coaching changes. So there's going to be some shuffling around with the coaches. None of the big names. Nothing that you'll hear on the radio. But one of the what is he? The safeties coach, Donald D'Alessio, is going to go to the Ravens to be their new defensive backs coach. So I don't know if that's an upgrade or if that's a lateral move. Not real sure, but I have faith that Andy Reid and Brett Veach and Spagnuolo will come to a great decision and replace him with somebody fantastic. So, maybe Eric Berry as a safety coach. That'd be awesome.
Does he coach?
Why not? Why not start here as a safety coach?
Let's go. I would love that because then I could go to training camp and get my old jersey signed. But I don't know that he coaches. You can't just because you were a player doesn't mean you could coach. Actually, because you were a player might make it even harder for you to coach. Like, we don't see a ton of players coaching.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe. But I mean, like his personality, the way that he kind of portrayed himself, his spirit, his tenacity. I just feel like he's got a pretty good coach in him, and what a great place to make your start as the Chiefs safety coach.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
You heard it here first.
It's just coaching is a lot of work, and that's why you see a lot of people, Chase Daniel, he went into coaching after his, career, and he coached here at the Chiefs for a bit. As soon as he got any deal for TV, he was like, I'm out. I mean, coaching is a lot of work, and you really have to love it, I think, to do it as a career. Like, you look at these players, and the players, it's awesome. They have to work out all the time and have great bodies, but, a lot of people do that for free, so they do it in their spare time. Coaches have to sit there and spend, they're basically working 80-hour weeks, and it's usually like the lower coaches is a thankless job, just like we don't know a lot of the names of even the coaches on the lower staff. Although I have faith, I didn't used to know every player on the team until we started this podcast. So I have faith by maybe the end of this, season, I know all the coaches too.
That's quite possible.
Hoping for a little bit of that, but so we're gonna have a lot more coaching changes. There's still rumors of Spags possibly still getting interest, which has me a little bit scared because I thought we were over that hump.
Yeah, I thought we were past that.
Yep.
That's who is it? Do you know?
No, I don't. It's all rumors too, so it's not like it's something. But there's
a spark of truth in all rumors, though.
Sometimes. Well, I want to get into this NFL analyst from Fox Sports. What's his name? Parker?
Yeah, I didn't get the first name.
Let's get into what he said about the Chiefs. This was a few days ago, but pretty wild.
It's wild, but it's ridiculous. He said that Reid and the Chiefs need to part ways. He says that Reid is falling off or has fallen off the cliff. And then he went on to say, last year they won the Super Bowl, so it kind of covered up how bad things were. That's like, how dumb is that, man?
It's pretty bad.
They won 2 in a row, so they're really trying to cover things up right now.
Yeah, that is just weird and
But I
odd.
think I'm going to be honest with you. To take the spark of truth out of that little blip there, I think this year was more covering up how bad things were with super close wins and incredibly fun games to watch if you're a Chiefs fan.
Well,
And so
or
a lot
and
of their
stressful.
inadequacies, yeah, and a lot of their inadequacies kind of got swept under the rug because they were winning. So I think that was more true of this year than it is of last year. I think last year was coming back from adversity after such a crazy season.
Well, and the fact that we had the most injuries of star key players on our offense throughout the first half of the season. I mean, it was actually nutty. We were the ones hit the worst, and it's just I don't see why he thinks that. I mean, I think honestly, it puts something towards the front that I think I've heard people say, and I'm thinking I agree now. My butt hurt by getting our butts handed to us, right? And we just got worked, but basically, where I'm losing my words here, but if we had played a close game, there might be thoughts to like, let's try to keep as many of these players together as we can. But since we got hurt so bad, I think that's going to really push them to really make quite a bit of change. And we have a segment later on where we're going to talk about free agency and what we should be looking towards in the draft and what we need on this team. So we'll get into that there. But I think it actually might be a good thing that we lost so poorly.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we lost so poorly is what made it not sting so bad for me. We kind of touched on that in the episode directly, like following the Super Bowl itself. Is you said that you were butthurt, and I said I wasn't, man. I mean, this season was so awesome. So, yeah, for me, um, if it had been close, that would have stung. That would have really. It would have been a longer week last week, following the loss.
See,
Whereas it wasn't such. It's just kind of.
So I'm still hurt. Like it still haunts me that we lost so bad. It haunts me bad. I mean, and that's why I think it's a good thing because it's going to haunt the Chiefs too to make change. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah,
So
no, and I don't.
you're saying for you it would have made it worse if the game was close? I think it would have been wonderful if the game was close. I could have said, hey, we played a hell of a game against each other. Good job. Instead, now I have to be like, all right, every Eagles fan I meet, I'm like, okay, hold on. I'll bend over real quick, smack it.
It
All
would
right.
have been a way better, a way more fun game to watch for sure. But I'm just saying, as the loss, it's like, man, you knew they were going to have a stinker at some point. We didn't really count the Broncos game as a stinker because there weren't any notable starters playing that game. But yeah, I mean, had the game been 41-39 with the Chiefs, with the ball in their hands, finally failing with the ball in their hands in the last minute, that would have stung. That would have hurt. That would have taken a long time to get over for me.
See, I'm definitely the opposite. It's going to take me a long time to get over this, and it would have taken me a day to get over, getting beat at the very end because we would have played our hearts out. We would have played a great game. It would have been a game for the ages. I mean, the 49ers game is a game for the ages, and I don't care.
Yes.
49er fans should be proud of that game. You know what I mean? And if they're not, then I don't think they really understand competition. I mean, that was a great game. So
kind of sounds like our old friend that was a 49ers fan.
Well, like that guy was nuts. We know it. Yeah, unreasonable. It's the kind of guy where you he wants to argue, and you say, "Hey, dude, you can't argue with the sky's blue," and he's like, "Bro, I can. Oh, I can." It's like, okay, well, you can't argue that that's a no park zone. Oh, yes, I can. He will find a way. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
But this brings us into just the absurdity. The storylines going around about the Chiefs are, I mean, they are funny. I mean, you have to just laugh because these trolls. So it's built up of, different types of people. You got the trolls that know they're making like complete nonsense up, and they're just doing it to try to get rises out of people that don't get that. That's what a troll is. And then you've got the people that are just a little bit slow that believe everything that the trolls are throwing out there. And then you got the normal people that are just, I'm not even going to interact with this because this is dumb. And it's crazy. I mean, people are saying Patrick Mahomes is done. The dynasty's done. I mean, guys, we just went to 7 AFC championships.
I mean, so here's the sprinkle of truth in this, though. Do I think Andy Reid has fallen off a cliff? Absolutely not. Do I think he's maybe on the decline? Quite possibly. I think that we witnessed this season the whole gadget thing, the whole body and soulment of the team essence is these trick, crazy, fun plays that they all make up, not just Andy Reid. But we saw
even players
a lot less of that, not only through the season, but especially the second half of the season and especially in the playoffs. It just went away completely. Did Andy Reid just stop making fun, cool plays to watch? I don't think so. I think maybe he's just, it's like today I reached the end of the internet. Maybe Andy Reid just kind of reached the end of, there's a bazillion plays to make up, and he's made up a bazillion of them, and now there's nothing. I mean, start recycling them, maybe.
I know everybody says Andy, all this blame goes on Andy, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you're not, but everybody is just, when people talk about getting rid of Matt Nagy, I mean, people that I really like, respect, and enjoy their content, they say that, it's all Andy on the offense, and I'm just like, bro, it is not all Andy. The offensive coordinator still works with players if he's a good one. Like you saw Eric Bieniemy talking to players constantly. He still prepares for final audit from Reid the game plan. He still has a huge part. He's a huge part of the offense, and people just saying that the Chiefs offensive coordinator is an assistant is I think just inaccurate. And if you've listened to Reid, he has told you as much. The problem is when anything bad happens, when anybody asks during controversial times, he actually tells you what the other coaches do. But if anybody asks when something bad happened, Reid always puts all the offense on him. Always.
Sure. Yeah, and I would never take anything away from him, but I think he, for instance, when he said Eric Bieniemy ran the offense half the time or whatever it was, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think at this point, years later, with the hindsight that we're able to see, that Bieniemy didn't ever have any kind of offensive successes at all after the Chiefs. So that just gave us continued belief that Eric Bieniemy had nothing to do with the play calling, the play calling aspect of that offense. I think his strengths were in other areas, and that's fine. And I think Andy Reid is going to give these guys credit.
Well, okay, so
it isn't necessarily theirs.
Eric Bieniemy went to the Commanders and had a monster start of this season, making us think, oh man, maybe we screwed up, because I wanted him out because it looked like he got in fights with everybody. Turns out maybe he was just the only one kicking the players in the butt
spark.
and holding them accountable instead of being, a nice dad. He's being the mean dad. But we saw Eric Bieniemy take the Commanders, and they did good to start, and then everything hit the fan. Injuries happened, and then. Yeah, I mean, the Commanders haven't been really the best franchise. They're kind of like the Bengals. They don't, it's not a family atmosphere like a lot of the other ones. It's kind of a rough organization to be part of as a player or a coach. But
hey, Derek in chat says they need some offensive tackles in this draft. Listen, just keep listening. We are going to cover that. We're going to go over.
There's like one that could possibly fall to our pick at 31st, but we will get to that. But I mean, hoping
in due time.
Yeah. Counting on that, the draft is not the way to go. We do not need to keep taking third round tackles and guards, hoping that we'll hit on something. But we will talk about that
a weak draft class
soon. We will talk about that soon. But just to kind of go back with the dynasty over, I don't think that's it at all. I think we're gonna be just fine, and
with Matt Nagy.
Yeah, even
there's no
with
part
Matt
of you
Nagy
that wants Matt Nagy gone.
Oh God, I've said it since almost the start of the year. I mean,
I thought you had changed your position on it. Okay.
Mm-mm.
You're just saying you're fine with Matt Nagy.
I'm fine. I'm fine with him. I hope he learned from some stuff this year. But I would rather have somebody else. Oh gosh, what's his name? We had him here.
Ted Lasso?
No, we had him here right before Patrick Mahomes. He's never coached. He's never been the offensive coordinator for Patrick Mahomes. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name.
Wasn't it Matt Nagy?
I wonder if Chat could know. No, he's down on his luck currently. He was. Oh my gosh, I'm so blanking. Well,
now I gotta know.
Not Shapiro. He was. What the
coordinator?
Yeah, I don't know. While you're looking that up, I'll talk about thinking that that the dynasty's over after we've had Doug Peterson. I'd love to see Doug come back. I would love to see Doug come back. I think it would be it would be right up Andy's, playbook to bring a guy down on his luck back into the fold. And, Patrick was never with him. It could be something where he can grow from it. He can grow from.
It was Matt Nagy.
No,
Matt Nagy was the OC for 2 seasons. Then Eric Bieniemy took over. But Doug Peterson was right before Matt Nagy.
Doug is
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
but I was right.
Yeah,
it was Matt Nagy before Eric Bieniemy.
But it wasn't. Yeah, but not before Patrick Mahomes.
Not when you were talking about.
Yeah. I was talking about. But
sorry.
So that would be great. But I think we're going to be just fine no matter what happens, as long as Andy and Spags are still there. I think we're still going to go to the AFC Championship. I can't guarantee winning the AFC Championship just because, dude, the freaking Chargers and Broncos are coming up, and the Raiders, if they're not there next year, they might be there the year after. I mean, we're not living in the time that Tom Brady ran. Tom ran at a time where his entire division for a decade was just trash. So
no, up until this year, though, it was. Up until this year, the Chiefs have had that for the last 15 years.
Herbert, Herbert was still good. Chargers were still good. Raiders were good before they got rid of. They were before they got rid of Chucky. So that's definitely a thing. But I think we could table the dynasty over a bit and move on to Kelce if you want to.
That's just clickbait. Yeah, definitely. Travis Kelce was given the firm deadline to decide on a potential retirement. March 14th. I thought it was 17th, but this article said March 14th.
I think you're
Either
thinking
way, that's
17th, I think is when free agency comes open. So that's probably what you're thinking.
maybe that's what it was. Yeah. So, man, there's a lot of money on the table for him to come back.
About
But
19 million, roughly.
But he said on New Heights that if he's going to do it, he's going to do it wholeheartedly. For me, man, I feel like that's a decision that would take a couple of months, not saying, all right, well, you've got a deadline now of less than 1 month to make your choice. I
know, but
I don't want him to do it out of spite, but I don't want Travis Kelce back at less than 100% because he's on the downward slope at this point. I think we saw that this season.
We say that he's on the downward slope, and yeah, he definitely is. But I mean, if you look at it, he's still the 5th best tight end in the league this year. You know what I mean? We have to remember that.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And there was a lot left on the table, I think, with him too. But when he's not going to be the fifth best next season, I think.
I mean, if he comes back with a fury, I think.
15?
If he comes back with a fury, he could be.
He could. He could be. I'm not going to say he won't, but I don't foresee that at all. Maybe top 10, 15, maybe. And that's still, you're in the top half of the tight ends in the league. That's still good, to your point. But he's got so much on his plate, and that would really free up a lot of room.
But I mean, all the stuff on his plate that he's put on, he's put on himself. He's the guy at the, at the local buffet that's just keeps piling stuff on, and doesn't go back to his table. I mean, that's what he's done to himself, but I get it. I mean, he's dating the most famous woman on earth,
but those things are going to last a lot longer than football is. And that's also in his mind. Yes, I've added all these things to my plate, but these are all things that I've added to pad myself for the future, and that is my future. Football is almost all in the past now.
Well, and you have to think about that too. The fear could be. Wait, sorry. Were you done with that point?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fear for him now could be, if I get injured, I'm not going to be able to go and travel and see my girl in all these different cool locations I've never been. Haven't got to travel a ton, because I've always been all about football. You also have to think about, the same thing, Barry Sanders thought of. Do I want to take more hits to the head and possibly, go, senile or have head issues more so later? Do I want to take the chance of my knees not being great? Like as you get older, you just really start to think about these things when you didn't before. When you were young, you were invincible. Nothing could hurt you. And then you start thinking about this, you're like, oh gosh. So if he's lost that, then, he kind of has to go. But I don't want to do him dirty. No matter
what,
he's taken team-friendly deals his entire career, and I don't want to do him dirty.
And to be at the top of your profession, to be number one for so many seasons, and then to turn around and, like you said, team-friendly deals. He's the consummate team player, and that's why everybody loves him. Everybody that matters in the game of football, they love him. He's fantastic, and not just to his teammates, but he's respected around the league.
Well, Ed, what's crazy is a lot of people say that his brother Jason Kelce, is going to talk to him, and some people speculate that Jason's totally happy with the decision he made in his love and life right now. And some say that they can see in the way he talks that he really misses it. But I could tell you, I bet you Travis Kelce is looking at Jason Kelce on Monday Night Football, ESPN, what they and we grew up watching and just imagining being on, fantasizing, and that's something that could be a big possibility for him. And then looking at his brother getting to go to the Super Bowl and getting to have all kinds of fun, and then they were eating, all this good food that he couldn't have on the podcast, and he went ahead and ate it anyway. Like, it's just, I bet he's seeing all this funnies that, his brother's having, and then all the fun he has when he goes and does stuff with Taylor Swift. And then, he probably feels crappy that Taylor Swift is getting put in so much of the Chiefs' storylines. He probably feels bad for the guys of the team. He's got a rough time right now.
Did you hear what Saquon said about Taylor Swift after the game? Somebody asked, "How
Saquon's amazing."
Food? Yeah, that was
he
such a
tweeted
classy
it.
answer.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think he tweeted that out. I think that was a tweet. But he said,
Either way,
he said, she's here to support her man. She does
partner.
all kinds of charities and helps the world. She's helped the NFL get more popular. Leave her alone. I mean, that's a lot more than he said. But
probably a Swiftie, and he's getting points at home for that. Good for him, man. Good for him.
He's just, I'm sorry, man. He's just, I'm a huge fan. He's a great running back, and off the field, I've learned a lot about him in just the last few weeks.
Those kinds of guys.
He's awesome, man. He's awesome. I can't give him, more credit for just being a consummate professional.
Jason is the voice of reason, for Travis, right? He's going to be telling him, these are the great things about retirement. These are the things that I really miss about playing on Sunday. Like, you have to remember that you've only got so many of those potential games left, and that Travis is not taking this decision lightly. This is not going to be something that he's, sitting on the toilet on a Sunday morning after drinking on a Saturday night, and he's, you know what? Fuck it, I'm not going back. This is something that is he's going to second guess whatever decision he makes. He's going to second guess that for a little while.
Which is what Jason Kelce is still doing. But
yes, looking
at Jason, I think Jason, speculating that Jason misses playing Sunday, you just have to, that's what Travis talked about on New Heights. You just have to make sure that the preparation that you need to do is up to snuff to be, be deserving of playing Sunday. And, a ton of older players will just punch the card, and a lot of NFL players do not respect that at all, and it's just a bad look. So, yeah,
I don't think that if we get Travis Kelce back, we're gonna get his best effort, 1,000%. I'm 100% believe that. So either way, there's parts of me that want him to go. All that money we could use, but as a fan of Travis Kelce and what he's brought to this team, like you said, man, I'd love to see him back, even if it's just free money for him. He deserves it, man. What he's brought to this city, during the Alex Smith years. Who doesn't love Alex Smith, man? But he wasn't the great quarterback. He was never going to be the leader that led a team to the Super Bowl. And Travis Kelce really, I think, got the best out of Alex Smith a lot. And I guarantee you Alex Smith would give him all the credit in the world too. So, I mean, of all the players, we love Tony Gonzalez, but I think at this point, I do. I love Travis Kelce more.
God, yeah.
I just
10 times more. I mean, Tony was one of my favorite players, but like I've talked about on the pod, he did me dirty. When I wasn't upset with him for going to the Falcons. I thought that was, that was something he had to do for him.
Move, yeah.
But he spent so much time here, and he was an icon here in Kansas City. And for him to snuff us and not retire here just put a bad taste in my mouth that has never gone away. Now, don't get me wrong. If I ran into him, I'd be like, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. I mean, I still idolize him, but Kelce took over that favorite Kansas City tight end a long time ago, and Kelsey's probably my favorite Chief of all time at this point. So,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, Kelce, he just embodies what I was when I was young, hothead, angry, tough guy, cries when he wants to cry because he doesn't care if anybody knows he cries. Like, just my type of dude, man. My type of dude. But yeah, I hope we don't do him dirty. I don't want to do him dirty. And if he does come back, we'll talk about it when we get down. But we can't restructure his contract. He's a little too old. It would be silly. But we could do something with void years. We could talk about when we get to that section. But do you want to move on to the next part about Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes is done. Apparently, the whole internet thinks that Mahomes is.
It was a great ride.
Yep, yeah, it was a great ride. Mahomes is done. He's broken. He's never gonna perform again.
29 years old, and he is done skiing.
Yep. 7 AFC champion or AFC appearances, 6 AFC championships. 3 Super Bowl wins out of 5 Super Bowl appearances in 7 years. Yeah, he's done. He's done. He's done. Cooked. Yeah. Get him out of here.
It was that game ruined him. Up until that game, legendary. That one game, he sucks now. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, when I saw the headline to this article that you're kind of pointing out here, I was like, oh, come on, man. Come on. You guys are just killing me. But she brought up some really good points. She said she thinks we're underreacting, and that was a bad start for me too. We're underreacting to what this is going to do to Pat Mahomes. I'm like, I think people are overreacting, and you think they're not reacting enough? Are you crazy? She said, no, make no mistake, though, this will only fuel him. And if anybody has seen anything about Patrick Mahomes, is he is fueled by this. This will light a fire under him.
Oh, you guys just keep them coming. Just keep them coming. Keep those memes coming. Keep our quarterback hungry and angry and ready to prove you wrong. Help us out.
Yeah. Keep picking against us.
Yeah.
After we lost Tyreek, we were going to be done.
Oh yeah, done. I mean, Super Bowl.
Yeah, 5,000 yards passing. Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah. Although we'll cover the receivers thing too, but we might need some help there this next year.
Yeah, I have a good reason for that, but yeah. Okay, so all right, what's this one here? Who was this?
This was Mitch Schwartz.
Mitch Schwartz.
Yeah. Yep. He was quoted as saying, "Someone's going to have to explain to me how a 29-year-old's legacy is tarnished because after the best 7-year start to a career and getting closer than anyone in history to winning 3 straight Super Bowls, one bad game from basically the entire team diminishes the legacy."
He's done.
You can't say it any better than that. It's lunacy.
It's absurd. It's like these people were just waiting. And they just had to wait for so long that it just got worse and worse and worse. And they're like, when it finally happened, they're just like, all right, type it as much as they can. I mean, the comments that I'm getting are so funny. Oh, it's just like, I've chosen the route of, instead of actually giving them good stats and good reasons, because these people are like, they're morons. They don't listen. They see what they want to see. So I've gone to the whole meme thing. So they talk about the Chiefs buying the refs. I'm like, well, they cashed my check for the Super Bowl, but they didn't perform for me, so I don't know if that was worth it. I
got my check back. Did you get yours?
No, they kept it.
No, they sent mine back. I wrote a strongly worded letter. email. Yeah.
Then
King Jamie.
I'll do things where I obviously, like, I'm pretending to misread their comment, and I'll just say, "Oh, you're so right. Patrick Mahomes is the best. I shouldn't be upset." I'll take whatever they said, turn it opposite, and be like, "You are so right, dude." And it's like, and people get pissed. It's hilarious that I just turn their troll right back on them.
Yep, you're right. I hate the Chiefs now.
Oh, yeah. So Mahomes being done is just absolutely absurd. Is he a little tired out? Yeah. Yeah, he just had his third baby. He's working hard as a dad. He's working hard as a player.
He's played more games in the first 7 seasons of his career than anyone else in the history of the NFL.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a very true statement. Yeah. I just have to laugh at them. They're so mad that I don't understand why success makes people so angry and such haters. I just don't get it.
I get it. I remember when the Broncos it looked, they got rid of John Elway retired, and then they kind of fell down for a few years, and then they got Peyton Manning, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? We were finally going to be able to take over the AFC West, and now they're getting Peyton Manning? I hated him before. I triple dog hate him now. Like, I absolutely, and that's the great thing about the NFL, man. That's what fuels the NFL. It's like, in life, friction fuels life, right? Friction fuels the NFL. That hate, the Raiders fans hate the Chiefs, and that's what makes the Chiefs-Raiders games fun. We hate the Raiders, and that's great, and the Raiders fans should appreciate that. That's what makes this sport so awesome. It really is.
I remember when Peyton left the Colts, and then they get Andrew Luck, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now?" Or when Aaron Rodgers came in for Brett Favre, I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? When can I have a quarterback? When can I have a quarterback on my team?" And Joe Montana for like a short little stint.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you remember Brody Croyle?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
He had a rocket arm, couldn't play for shit, but he had a rocket arm. I mean, we've had to deal with so much, and then I'm getting on a total tangent, but Mahomes is not done, guys.
Remember how Favre treated Aaron though when he came in? He was not a leader. He didn't want anything to do with this successor, right? So he wanted that team to be on his shoulders so he was kind of a jackass. And that's not what we have in Mahomes either, I think. No, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to kind of lead into the next little point.
Oh, okay. I don't want to lead into the next point, though.
Well,
the next. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, not the next section. Gotcha.
After that Super Bowl loss, and after the horrible performance by not just Mahomes, but the entire Chiefs team, honestly, but a lot of that was squarely on Mahomes' shoulders. I think everybody understands that.
I've called it, yeah, many times.
He went right up to Jalen Hurts after the game. He didn't duck out. He said, "Hey, man, congratulations, man. Enjoy it." And
Tom Brady didn't do that stuff. Tom did not do that stuff.
No, he would leave.
He would leave, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a sulky thing either. He looked right into Jalen's eyes. I mean, man to man, shoulder to shoulder, and said, "Go enjoy it."
Congratulations, go enjoy it.
He knew exactly what Jalen Hurts was about to enjoy,
and what Jalen Hurts hurt. The two years prior, right?
Yep.
But
yeah, exactly.
Real quick to go back, just so I could get it out, but. There might be something wrong with the Packers organization because both quarterbacks hated the organization, and Favre the reason Aaron Rodgers got drafted is because Favre would constantly. This brings us back to the Kelce thing. Favre would constantly just say, "I don't know," and tell him right before the preseason started. So they were finally like, "All right, well, we're gonna draft a quarterback." And you just let us know when you're done, But
yeah, it wasn't handled very well, for sure.
But yeah, back to Patrick Mahomes. It's It's why I went and congratulated those Eagles fans at the Marriott, where we were watching it on the big screen. And, it's the right thing to do. I mean, they played well. It was good, even if, say, it was a close game and there was a questionable call at the end of the game that gave it to the Eagles. That's not the Eagles or the Eagles fans' fault. I would have still congratulated them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the difference between a good sport and a bad sport. And there's a lot of bad sports out there that just want to hate, and it's just gross. Absolutely,
well, that's what it's become now,
gross.
and that's what happens to every dynasty. Is it gets to the point where everybody wants to watch them lose. Man, remember the Dallas dynasties, and how much I wanted the Cowboys to lose just every single week. I hated the Cowboys, and to this day, it brings me so much joy to watch that organization just fall away in mediocrity.
No, the Cowboys are still have a place in my heart because my dad grew up in Fort Worth and grew up watching. I still hear stories. My dad compares Mahomes constantly to Roger Staubach. Like, Mahomes has got my dad back into football. My dad's been out of football for 20 years. He just hung up his cleats and was just done. I mean, he grew up playing ball. I mean, football was his life. I mean, he loved the Dallas Cowboys, but he just hung it up and was just kind of tired of it all. I think he was tired of Jerry Jones, but yeah, he tells me stories about Roger Staubach all the time, and I still have a place in my heart for the Cowboys, and hope that Jerry, just gives the reins to somebody else. Like, let Dallas fans and Texas fans,
I thought for a second
something.
you were going to say, I hope Jerry just gets things figured out. And I was going to say that's not. We're past the point of that return. At this point, it's got to go to somebody else. Does he have any kids?
I'm not sure. I wanted to look this up. I should have looked this up. Anybody in the comments, I'd love it if you would leave us a comment. So I watched the show Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. It's about oil, right? And Jerry Jones is in the show and plays
as a real character?
As himself. He plays himself, and he tells a story about the only reason he ever came to Texas was because he wanted to work with his daughter. And he ended up buying this land that he was going to develop for commercial and housing, and ended up finding some oil on it. And he struck it with a bunch of oil. And he goes, and that's how I bought the Dallas Cowboys. And I was like, I really want to look it up and see if that's true. But the way he told the story in the show, I know he probably could have, had as many takes as he wanted, but I liked him for a second there. And it was weird. It was really weird. But I wonder if that's a true story. Please, guys, tell us in the comments. I'll probably have to look it up at some point, but would love to know.
Yeah, we don't got no stinking Cowboys fans listening to us.
Yeah, but I mean, people just might know the story. I mean, depending how old you are, I mean, my mom, she was a little girl, but she was alive when we were the Dallas Texans before we were the Kansas City Chiefs. So
that was way before I was a fan of anything.
Yeah. It was way before I was born. Yeah, my mom was a Chiefette before I was born, too. She did that in, like, grade school, middle school, like late grade school, middle school, somewhere around there.
In the 60s?
I think it was the 60s. She has a whole bunch of memorabilia they gave them after the Chiefs won the fourth Super Bowl.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's little solid gold football charms and necklace. It's super cool. But yeah, so I don't know when that was, but it was about 55 years ago.
That'd have been right around 1970.
Yeah. I'm just going by Super Bowl math because we did 59 and they won 4. So 55 years ago. Wow, long time. Well,
Yeah.
Yep. So Mahomes is done throwing the towel. We're done with that. Mahomes, get out of KC.
We're ready for a trade.
So silly. So silly.
Where's Kirk
Love you,
Cousins at now?
Mahomes. Love you, Mahomes. Don't go anywhere. You have done so much for Kansas City.
You like
on
that?
the field, but off the field, you guys are rock stars. You've really helped the city grow. I know Mayor Lucas specifically. Not telling you how I know, but I know he appreciates you a lot. You've done a huge service to the city. We're getting a World Cup coming here shortly because of what, not just Mahomes, but Mahomes has really helped our city start to grow once again, and it's a cool thing. And let the haters hate. Go ahead. You go ahead. I got one last thing to end us out on this topic.
I was just going to say, Tech 9 also, and don't ask me how I know, but he really appreciates what Mahomes has done for this city as well. Tech 9. Don't ask me how I know.
Kingdom.
But I know.
Roll down Neiman. I've been listening to Tech 9 since I was freaking 17. It's crazy. Tech 9 is old.
Tech 9. I love that guy.
The last thing that I have to say is, you guys, we will give you that the GOAT debate has gone on hold. The GOAT debate is on hold. The only way he was going to jump was with the three-peat. The GOAT debate is on hold. But Mahomes has got Tom did play for 25 years, but when Tom went into his 30s, he went for almost a decade with no Super Bowls. So Mahomes has definitely still got a chance at this. So we'll just have to see. But everybody forgets that middle of Tom's career that was pretty much lackluster, and I could show you a bunch of different times where Tom put up worse performances than Mahomes did in this last Super Bowl. He just didn't do it in a Super Bowl. He did it in the first round of the playoffs and stuff like that.
I remember one time they came to Kansas City, and I believe it was the first game of the season. I could be wrong about that, but we picked him off like 5 times. They sat him, I want to say, the end of the third quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was bad. It was the worst I'd ever seen Tom Brady play, and it was against the Chiefs.
Yep. Everybody forgets this. There also isn't, back in that time, you're only getting your news from ESPN about football and from your local stations about your team. And, the NFL Network came about somewhere in the middle of Tom's career. So, we had way less coverage. Now every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Buk and Bob, like none of this stuff was out. Like there's so much more information out now, and people just don't realize the past. So Mahomes is here to stay, guys. Sorry.
Well, even though his career is over and we've got to deal with some more of Mahomes in the future, that sucks. Do you want to kind of turn to some slightly better news?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it looks like the NFL is raising the salary cap, and just with where we are right now, before any retirements or re-signings and all that stuff, it looks like we're going to free up some money to spend on some talent next year, which we're really going to need.
Yeah, it's so last year the bump was 22 mil to the cap. The bump this year is now 26 mil. So we just basically gained 26 mil. You have to remember every team did though too. So it's
yeah, absolutely.
But
you can't base You can only focus on what you can do to make your team better, not I mean, if you've got two decisions and they both make your team equally better, then you can start debating, which decision is going to hurt the other teams more at that point. But, yeah, we went up 26 million.
Yep.
So where were we before that? So where are we total now with that 26?
We were at 906,000 roughly.
Woohoo! So
Yeah,
less than
under 1 million. But a lot of people, so there's all kinds of stuff that just here right at the top of this conversation before we talk about like what we need and stuff like that. There's all kinds of stuff that we can do to make the to free up cap space. So there's if we want to restructure Mahomes' contract, we could make we could free up anywhere from 19 to even up to 39 million, depending. The more we free up, the more it, is a pain in the ass in the back end. But we could do that. We could, and I don't like this idea, but both Juwan Taylor and Joe Thuney are making about 27 million on the cap this year. There's no possible way we extend Juwan Taylor.
No.
It sucks too, because if he didn't have so many false starts, he's a great right tackle. He causes so many problems with the false starts that it
snowballs. It's never one in a game. It's five in a game.
Yep. So we need to just keep him the one last year and let him go. But Joe Thuney's older, but we could restructure his contract and free up anywhere around 10 to 13 mil, right?
Wow.
Say Kelce stays, okay?
Kelce stays.
Kelce decides to stay. He's got a $19 million cap hit, right? What we could do with Travis is we could restructure Travis's contract with a void year in it. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what a void year is, it's where you basically take pieces of a contract and move that payment to a year later or multiple years later, but with the understanding that the player is never going to play in those years. So it's guaranteed money. It's just basically talking the player into being like, are you cool with getting the other half of your salary a year later? Is basically what it is. So if he wanted to play one more year, we could do that. We could split it in half. We could put, 8 mil on next year's cap and free up 8 mil there, right? Those would be huge. Now, Chris Jones, I don't know what to do with Chris Jones because he's already a little bit older, and I don't know.
When you say he's already older, you're talking just in terms of contract.
His age. No, I'm talking about his age. I don't know
You're
that I
not
want
talking about his play on the field, though. That's not been diminishing.
It diminished a little bit this year. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think he was near as dominant.
I think the reason for that was the end was such a crutch for this defensive line.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Until the Super Bowl, once Amenahue came back, it got really, really spicy there.
You could restructure him and supposedly save up to 20 million in the restructure, but I just don't know. I'm feeling a little scared on Jones. I'm hoping that he, proves to be wrong next year, but this year he just did not seem to have as much of a push. I know he hurried a ton, but I just don't know. We didn't see the the defensive line come to life until Charles Omenihu came back. Creed Humphrey could I know he was just signed last year, but he could restructure and free up, $2 to $5 million or something, right? And then Drew Tranquil you could do. But I mean that's not gonna free up much. But I mean, if you look at just Mahomes, say they just
How old
get
is Drew Tranquil?
I'm not sure. He's pretty young.
I feel like he's north of 30.
Drew Tranquil? I don't think so. No. He's he's young. What are you talking about? He's oh gosh, where's
I
this
didn't
thing?
say I know he is. I said I feel like he is.
Where's his
I feel like he's been
what's his
around the
age?
league for a long time.
No.
How old is Drew Tranquil?
No, he's
29.
Okay.
He'll be 30 by the time the season starts.
God, who am I thinking of then?
Leo Chanel, maybe?
I'm thinking of I am totally they look a little close. They look a little similar as far as appearance. Okay. My bad. Yeah.
And that's not old for a linebacker specifically. I mean, linebackers typically play into their mid 30s, so that's not necessarily old. I was just thinking more along the lines of contracts. Usually a guy close to 30 is coming close to the end of a contract. So how many years do we have him left? I mean, shit, another couple of years with him wouldn't be bad at all.
Yeah, I don't think he would be good, but we now get into what we have to keep. So we have to we do have money theoretically now. We know the Chiefs are going to do some of these restructures. We know they just got 26 more mil on top of the cap. So now we have to look at what we want from those. And Trey Smith would be great to keep, right? And so would Nick Bolton. But
I'd rather Justin Reid and Trey Smith if we're going to be able to keep two of them. I love Bolton, don't get me wrong. I just think Justin Reid is a little more important.
I just don't get that. Bolton, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. He is slower, but his ability to see things on the field and tell everybody the play before it goes is pretty impressive. And I guess I just have to see what Spags thinks, but I really think Nick Bolton is an underrated player. Now, I will say that, but if we're going to keep Nick, then I'm down to keep Nick at 9 to 11 mil a year. Bolton is cool staying for that. If Bolton's looking for top middle linebacker money, like 18, 19 mil a year, I say go take your payday, bro. Not willing to give that much. That's where I'm at with him. And I'm definitely not down with using the franchise tag on him. Franchise tags on linebackers are absurd because of 3-4 outside linebackers that are edge rushers. So they're still marked as a linebacker. They should be marked as a 3-4 linebacker. Like that should be a thing. Because if we wanted to franchise tag Bolton, it would be more than Trey Smith. It would be $27 million instead of Trey Smith's $24 million. Just because the highest paid linebackers are outside linebacker pass rushers for 3-4 offenses. And so anybody who doesn't, who's listening that doesn't know what the franchise tag is, you're taking the 4 top paid players at that position and,
all throughout the NFL.
Yeah, the 4 top. and you're taking their 4 salaries, adding them up, dividing by 4, and that's the average that you're going to pay on a franchise tag. And middle linebacker and outside linebacker go together. So yeah. So if you want
So
to
how does that
franchise
work? Is
tag
that-
a linebacker, it's absurd because you're literally looking at the 4 prices of these premier pass rushers in a 3-4 offense.
So is that somebody that's under contract, but they're being offered a bigger contract, and then you can lock them by franchise tagging them?
Yeah, yeah. Each team can tag one player, and you can lock them for 1 year, and you could do it 2 years in a row. Can't do it a third year. Yeah. So, like for instance, last year we franchise tagged Snead, and then we traded him. Which brings me to my next point. I would kind of love to franchise tag if we can't get a long-term deal done with Trey Smith, like a long-term deal with Trey Smith, giving him what he's worth. The first year would probably be only like a $10 million hit. So we'd be okay, right? That's if we can come to an agreement, right? If we can't, I would love to see Trey Smith get tagged, and then we can trade. He's the second most coveted free agent on a lot of people's lists in all of free agency.
So it has to be a free agent
Well,
that gets franchise tagged.
yeah,
They're
because
not under contract.
you wouldn't tag, because normally you're paying a huge chunk for just that 1 year, because you're paying them, the average of the 4 top players at their position. So
you don't want to franchise tag a punter.
And you don't want to franchise tag a linebacker at all unless you have a 3-4 offense and he's a premier pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3-4 defense. Sorry. So if we franchise tagged Smith, a lot of people disagree with me, but I think Brett Veach could find somebody who would give us a first-round pick for him. He's the second most coveted free agent in the NFL right now. If he couldn't get that, I bet he could get a second and a few other picks.
So wait, franchise tag him, and then he plays the next year on that tag, and then trade him. So you're talking about
we franchise tag him so he can no longer go talk to other teams. He is now locked to the Chiefs. The only thing is, if that backfires and we can't trade him to anybody, then we're stuck paying him $24 million for 1 year, and we still don't have him locked down. And so therefore, he's now taking up $24 million. And we need offensive tackle really bad. We need money to buy that. So yeah, it would be great, because right now we can't trade him because he's a free agent. But he's an unrestricted free agent. But if we franchise tag him, boom, we're done. Now, there's rumors that have come out from different Twitter accounts that say the Chiefs plan to not use the tag at all this year. But they're from I mean, it's not from Adam Scheffler or anything. So I don't know how much I believe that, and I'm not going to, report on it. But yeah, I think we could get a lot, and that's how we grew so quickly, was with the Tyreek Hill trade. We got so much from that. And if we could get a first for Trey, it would be huge for us. But I don't know. That's where I'm at on that.
But the only problem with that, when you say we need a tackle, a left tackle specifically, from what I understand, this draft class is really weak in the tackle position.
Super weak.
So using that strategy to hope to get a first-round pick, what do we really expect to get out of that first-round pick?
Well,
is it going to be a tackle?
Yeah, but we would. we would have to have an earlier first round pick. Like right now we're at the 31st, and there's one tackle that could maybe fall to us, but the others are gone. So, yeah, if we could get an earlier first round pick, we could maybe get a tackle. And then there's tackles that are going to be free agents, but the only one that really looks great is old. Like, he's old. So,
What
I
do you
don't
mean
know.
by old?
I mean, like 33.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but
That's okay.
yeah, I don't know that. We need something, and we might have to end up trading picks to get one. I mean, and I can't think of anybody. I've been trying to think of it. I can't think of anybody that has one that we could use that, is not good enough to be able to trade with him for him, because it's a position that's extremely hard to find people for. And yeah, it's the only thing that's got me pretty worried. But, so offensive tackle is the number one on a lot of people's lists of what the Chiefs need. But number two is wide receiver.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by this. So
I was too.
But if you look at it, DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Watson, and Mecole Hardman are all free agents this offseason. So that leaves us with Rice, who
And Sky Moore.
Not as bad as Kadarius Toney still. But that leaves us with Rice, who
have you
is
heard
most
about?
likely going to be suspended.
Oh, I'll talk to you about it. I don't want to talk about it on here. It's like
Okay.
it's like Esquire news, but
Okay, yeah.
but he got himself into a lot of trouble. He's might be going to jail.
Yeah, but so like we're kind of up the creek now. As far as free agents are concerned, Mecole Hardman, I really feel like we're going to get him back for pennies because nobody's been able to do anything with him successfully. We've talked about that, and he's had heroic moments with this team. He knows Patrick Mahomes.
He's like that puppy that are that dog that you fed and that you let come in for a bit, and then you found his owner, you took it back to his owner, and then 2 weeks later he's come all the way back to your house and he's at your door again. That's Mecole Hardman. He's just never leaving,
and that's okay as long as he keeps doing what he does for this team.
Okay, so I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't want to re-sign Hopkins.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with you on this.
Well, let's see if your reason's the same as mine. What's your reason?
He doesn't really fit the traditional receiver type that we use him for. He's either a number 2 or he's a slot, and we've always gone for speed in the slot, and he doesn't have the speed. And as a number 2, you've got to have some speed, and he's fallen off in that. I think he would have worked a lot better in a Tom Brady offense as a slot receiver. But it's just not what the Chiefs offense. This is not the way the Chiefs offense is set up. It's for that kind of guy.
Yeah. So I think he's an amazing wideout. And when we brought him on the team, I talked about his differences, and I talked about how Mahomes has never had a wideout like him, and specifically that means a wideout that you throw it to and he just catches it while he's covered. Mahomes, I thought he could get over it, but it turns out he can't. Mahomes just does not want to throw to a receiver that's not open. Like, it doesn't matter if they're one-on-one. He does not want to do it. His career has showed us that. His play with Hopkins this last year showed us that. He's not the type of quarterback that's going to have faith in somebody just coming down with the ball. And that's the receiver Hopkins is. He's not I'm going to get open receiver, and Mahomes can't seem to get anything going with him. So,
yeah. I mean,
unless he wants
he
to
only
do a
played-
vet min deal. If he wants to do a vet min deal, come on, Hopkins, get on in here.
Just for his influence on Worthy alone, but for his influence in the wide receiver room as a whole.
Yep.
And who knows, we could come show up with another rookie or first, second year guy in the wide receiver room that's priceless
Yep.
for a veteran minimum deal. But does he still consider himself a top receiver, wanting top receiver money? It's possible. I mean, it's possible. I would love to think that he would do it because he just wants the championship so damn bad. But
Yeah, but you just don't know. If he wants to take a small deal, I'm down to have him back. But if he wants the same that he got paid this last year, then I'm not really feeling that at all. I mean, he made $13 million last year. I don't want to pay him $13 million. I would rather give that to a Bolton.
What's the veteran minimum?
Like
1.5?
I'm not sure. It's somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere around like 1.2, 1.5, something like that.
Hell of a pay cut.
think
he'll make something. He'll make more than that someplace else.
So it's probably changing with the cap going up, but both Juju Smith and Kareem Hunt have a $1,210,000 contract, and so does Mike Pennell. So that makes me think that's the vet min deal for that position or whatever. So, yeah, so I'm down for that, but I'm not down for him any more than that. But then, yeah, Hollywood Brown, a lot of people are saying no. I say yes. I mean, unless he wants a ton of money, but I'm down to bring Hollywood back. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
He was $7 million last year. If he wants $7 million again, I'm down for that.
Yeah, and opposite of Rice, assuming that Rice comes back after the suspension and can come back kind of the way he left early this season, he was really showing promise, man. This was going to be an exciting season with Rice at wide receiver.
Yeah, and Worthy coming up. I just don't think. I think Hollywood Brown's fine. Justin Watson, you know me, I'm not a huge fan of him, but if he gets paid, $1 million, I'm fine with bringing him on. Like I'm cool with that. Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't know, man. Dude had
he's come up with some plays.
He's had some great games, but not but they don't use him a ton, so I don't know. But he's also, I mean, we need people that get open for Mahomes, and so I don't know. I don't really want to bring back Tyreek Hill. I'm not really good with that. A lot of people are talking about Cooper Kupp to the Chiefs.
I feel like that's going to be kind of along the same lines as DeAndre.
But Cooper still gets opened. He's a really good route runner. I mean, he gets open. He's going to be like Kelce. He's going to get open, but he's not going to get that big
extra
play.
Yardage.
Yeah, that extra yardage anymore. And he is older, and there's a lot of weird stuff with his contract, which is the whole reason why they're trying to get him out, So I don't know that I really want to take on that. But let's move on to defensive tackle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people saying that's like, our third biggest need. I don't know that that's true. Well,
Tershawn Wharton is going to be a free agent, and that concerns me a little bit. I think Tershawn was kind of overshrouded by Chris Jones, Amenahue, and Karlaftis this year. He was solid. When Chris Jones was out for that injury for what was it, a game and a half, 2 games, something like that? He really stepped up and he was solid.
And he can eat 12 eggs.
And he can eat 12 eggs. So, and Mike Pennell, he's had some.
Yeah.
He's had some plays. Derek Nottie had a big play in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I mean, Tershawn Wharton is the only one I'm really.
Yeah, he's the only one I'm really concerned.
I want to keep him.
Would probably be a little bit strongly worded too. I'd love to keep him, but I don't think that's nearly as big of a need as the other, even number 4 and number 5 here.
Well, let's talk about number 4.
Yeah,
running back.
Yeah. So Kareem Hunt was on a 1-year deal, right? And Pirine. I think Pirine's going to be a free agent. I don't see them re-signing Pirine. Is Kareem Hunt the guy that you want for another year?
No, but if he'll take a vet minimum deal, I want. Wait, hold on. You said Pirine? You said Pirine?
No, I don't think Pirine's coming back.
Okay, I want Hunt to take over Pirine's spot as the third down running back. Hunt can catch out of the backfield and still has push for that 2 or 3 yards for a short yardage situation.
Echo to take over?
No. I want something very different. I want. Okay. This is a heavy running back draft, right? Meaning a lot of people will be sitting and waiting to draft running back. I want to take a running back with our first round pick. As long as not too many of them came off the board. Do you have a guy in mind, or do you have some characteristics in mind? There's a few guys that this is a good running back draft. There's a few guys. I don't have exactly which one I want, but as long as only 1 or 2 running backs has went when pick 31 comes up, I want to take running back. And this is why. If you look over Andy Reid's career, Andy Reid does not run the ball. He does not like to run the ball. But when Andy Reid has a premier running back, let's talk about Shady, LaShawn McCoy, runs all the time. When he had Kareem Hunt in his prime, runs all the time. If he has a premier back, he's going to run. And if he doesn't, it's going to be hard to make him run. And that's where I'm at. I'm down with a trade. I'm down with maybe signing a free agent. I haven't really seen. I don't think there's enough to check about the free agent running backs. But I want to get a premier running back. I want to get a good one. And,
I like the angle you're going with here. Andy Reid has such a strong influence on who the team drafts. And you just said he doesn't like to run. I have a hard time believing that they're going to go for a running back in even if there's no running backs drafted at all by pick 31. I find it hard to believe that they would do that in the first round. Brett
Veach and Andy Reid are still on the same level, and both report to.
But if Reid says, Hunt, I don't want a running back in the first round, Veach is going to respect that. And Lamar Hunt, I think, is going to respect that.
If he was still alive. But Clark probably will.
Okay, yes. You're right.
Hey, apologies, man. He's still Hunt here in our hearts. He's still here. And
apologies
in our
to
hearts.
The Clark family.
So, yeah, I think Brett Veach could be like, Andy, you need a running back. And Andy would be like, fine. I think they have a good relationship. That's what I have to believe. I think.
Oh, I'm 99% sure they do.
Either way, if it has to be second round, fine. This is a really good running back class. I just really want a premier guy. I want them to take a back at least in the first 3 rounds. Don't get us another Pacheco in the 7th. He was a steal for the 7th, but I think we need a premier running back to make Patrick's life a little easier and just make play action a little easier. It would help everything. It would help the O line. It would be an effect that trickles across the entire team, and
trickle down.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I mean, you've sold me on the running back, the premier running back. I find it, and even after you said you want that in the first round, and I said I don't see that happening. You're like, well, you settled for in the first 3 rounds, but man, if we don't get this tackle thing, at least band-aid it up for the season.
If the tackle, I forget his name, but if the tackle that some people think could fall to us is there, definitely take the tackle. I just don't think. I think a team's going to take him just to make sure we don't get him.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of that.
So it's possible we might trade up. They might. Basically, there might be a team at like 22 that calls us and be like, "Hey, how much you want him? Because we're going to take him if you don't trade with us right now."
Yeah.
I want $150,000, but I'll sit outside of court right now for $50.
Yeah. Veach will be like, "Well, I've got a
bologna
sandwich over here.
A half a ham sandwich, but a full bologna sandwich and a couple
and
fries.
A bag of chips."
Yep. I've got a half order of McDonald's fries left over from last night. What can we get done, sir? What can we get done?
It's probably barbecue, He's probably using barbecue.
Oh, that's true.
To get these guys. Yeah. Yep.
It's true. Well,
that's a secret weapon.
I would love to see us get a running back. Definitely need to take care of the tackle situation. But
so what's the number 5?
So the last time, the number 5.
Yeah.
Defensive end. Now, this isn't ours. This is an article off Arrowhead Addict that's saying these are our biggest needs. So we're just kind of going with it and seeing if we agree or don't. But defensive end. Now, it's
just losing a Mayhew, I believe.
I don't know. I've heard rumors that he wants to get paid. I mean, he got paid pretty good. I mean, he made $8 million last year. I mean, he's been hurt. I don't know that
he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah, if he wants to stay for $8 million, I'm cool with it. If he doesn't, I think he's kind of got to go. And so defensive end would be something that we could definitely use. But I don't think we could pay him premier money. I don't think he's done enough to get that done.
If he finds another team that's willing to pay him more, are you in favor of a full offseason of Uche learning that position better?
No. Uche has to go. Uche, we never should have traded for him. He's a 3-4 outside linebacker. That's all there is to it. He is a pass rusher, but I think there's a lot of people that just don't understand the vast difference between linebackers and defensive ends and defensive tackles in like when you go from 3-4 to 4-3. That's why Spags didn't want to play him. It's like us trying to think that we could take Kingsley Suamataia from right tackle his entire career and then put him in starting his first year in the NFL at left tackle. It's something you don't do normally. And so no, I don't think Uche, I think Uche's gone. I mean, I don't think he has a spot on this team. And I don't think Spags is switching to the 3-4 mentality anytime soon.
No, that's not going to change. No. So if that list wasn't right, then is there a position on that top 5 list of needs that the Chiefs have that you would swap out for one of those?
I think
we're pretty set at quarterback, right?
No, Mahomes is done. Remember,
Oh yeah.
dynasty over. So
So are we gonna trade or are we gonna
yeah, trade.
draft?
Let's trade him for let's just trade him for let's get I can't
Kirk
think of anybody.
Cousins.
Let's just sign Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Oh
You
man.
like that?
No, I mean honestly the list isn't that bad. I just would have had it in different order. I would have had offensive tackle definitely number 1 like them, but I would have had running back number 2 definitely.
Yeah, I think I would have put defensive tackle at 4th and then
And
running back at 3rd, and that would have been my only change. But
well, and it also just depends on if they actually get a deal done with Reid. I mean, because then safety could probably be on that list, and so it just kind of depends on who they end up re-signing to where we could actually figure out, what we want. But honestly, yeah, we don't have a ton of hurt. I mean, the line is really what we have to get going, and there's multiple ways for us to do that because it's obvious that Mahomes is not happy with doing quick passes constantly, and he wants to play a different game. So we need a different line. And the last time we got our butts handed to us in a Super Bowl, it was, it like the next year. Now, the next year, we traded for Orlando Brown, left tackle. We signed Joe Tooney, free agent. We drafted Trey Smith and what's his name, Humphreys, and yeah, like and I think that's the same year we got Jawan Taylor. So we reworked the line completely, and we had one of, if not the best lines in football that year right after. But we used the trade stuff that we got from the Cheetah, Tyreek Hill. So we don't have that much capital this time, and that's where I kind of just wish we would franchise tag Trey Smith and get some more picks in the draft. Because I really think Sua Mataia could kill it at right guard. So, he's not going to take over right tackle because Juwan Taylor makes too much money and we just can't get rid of him yet. But I think he could kill it at right guard. Shoot, Wanye Morris could probably kill it.
That's where Trey plays, though. Like, what would you do with Trey then? Put him over at left guard?
No, Trey would be traded. That's why I want to franchise tag Trey and trade him before the season starts. Then he makes a long-term deal with whoever he's traded to. Like, that's how that works. That's what happened with, Snead, too. But
so it'd almost be a waste of the franchise tag, though. I mean, I know you used it to get the guy to be tradable, but
yeah, but we couldn't trade him if we didn't franchise tag him.
Right.
Like, he would just go to another team, which would suck, then we'd get nothing for him. But if we franchise tagged him, I bet we could get a second and change for him, which would help us a ton in this, small, rebuild of the team.
Yeah.
That's all I got, though, for today. I don't know if you have anything else. Oh. No? Got any?
Do we want to talk about Mahomes' haircut?
No, because I have not seen it yet.
It's just a tamed down version of his haircut. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's not a new style. He just cut it shorter. It looks nice.
No, well,
nothing wrong with it.
He talked about it on the quarterback show. He talked about how, for his kids, he wanted to have a more responsible looking haircut. People were like, huh? You don't have to do that. He was like, yeah, but it's just
not. I didn't think it, they called it a mohawk. It wasn't a mohawk in the true sense of a mohawk. It was a style. And he wasn't the first guy to do it, but I think he definitely made it popular.
Yeah,
But
there was a lot of soccer players that did that hairstyle.
You see people out in the world every day with crazy, weird hairstyles, and you think to yourself, "Oh, I'd never be seen." Mahomes did not have one of those hairstyles. I did not see that as a weird, crazy hairstyle.
Are you bringing this up because you just changed your hairstyle?
I mean, I gave up on a hairstyle that I loved 20 years ago.
Yeah, you cut off 14 inches.
I did, and I cut off like 8 inches of beard.
Beard, yep.
Yeah, it wasn't because of, well, I want to be a more responsible looking father. It was, well, I'm almost 50 now, and it's starting to really thin out up on top, and it just doesn't look as cool as it did when I was 25 and had long hair. So
yeah, I know how that is. Yeah. Dude, my hair used to be so wavy and curly. It was crazy. And now it's just straight as an arrow. It's the weirdest thing ever. All right, well, let's go ahead and end it out with this one voicemail that we got.
Yo, you guys lost, bro.
Thanks for the voicemail. No shit, Sherlock. This guy took the time to call and be like, "Yeah, you lost, bro."
We're aware. I mean, it kind of is what we talk about. So
thanks for your voicemail, moron. But if anybody else wants to leave a voicemail, it's 816-866-1066. We're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you. Catch you on the flip side.
Latest in the Menjay.
Yeah.